fantastic. And if you want, I could always text it to you as well.
Okay.
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 So we're going to go ahead and talk about the info Q&A with regards to the stem cell activation patches.
Yep.
And here we go. So of course we always start off with our little disclaimer. It says that the stem cell activation patches aren't intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease. We do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. No medical claims are being made with the suggestions here. And so with that, we are going to get started. I always like to talk about the Fantastic Five. This little graphic, the words are too small if you're on a cell phone to see them, so I simply wrote them down here in bullet points below. And we'll be reviewing all of that as we go through this presentation. So the number one thing to be aware of is that when you think about stem cells, we've all heard of cells that are in our body, but stem cells are the original blueprint. It's the original programmed, tiniest micro matter, if you will, that formed you in your mother's womb. And it wasn't until your mother's ovum came into contact with your father's sperm that then you had complete information. The 23,688 stem cells that were required to have the programming to create you in your mother's womb, and immediately that cell multiplication began, where you fast forward 6 weeks and now you have a little heartbeat that you can not just see, but you can hear in an ultrasound, right? And now you fast forward a little more and that little embryo turns into a fetus. Fast forward a little more after 9 months and now you have a brand newborn baby, right? Fast forward a little bit more and we are now 30 years of age, and now 50% of those original stem cells, they actually go dormant. They turn off. They don't disappear. They're not damaged. They just go dormant just because of age. Because you've reached the age of 30, 50% of them turn off. If you fast forward to 60, now 90 to 100% of those stem cells turn off. And now, when you have less stem cells available to create this, to run now your entire body, you can see that you have less of the original blueprint, which is why we have aging. And now the copies of the cells, that the few little tired cells that are stem cells that are available, are trying to keep up with keeping everything all in place in the body. And if you've had any kind of an injury, if you've cut yourself, if you've fallen down, hurt yourself in any way, shape, or form, or if you've had surgery and you're post 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years of age, we've all witnessed how healing is much slower as we age, and it's in direct proportion to the number of stem cells that you have available. And so stem cells are this thing we call pluripotent. Pluripotent simply means plural is many, potent potentials. So pluripotent simply means many potentials. So any one of the 23,688 stem cells that were the original building blocks to create you, just like Legos, you're building a little house, well, you're building this body, all of them have all of the information to complete you head to toe. And so each one of those cells have the ability to turn into whatever you need. So it can, if you need a heart cell, it can create a heart cell or a red blood platelet, a fat cell, a skin cell, a nerve cell for the brain, a neuron, whatever it is that you need. Every single one of those have the ability to create what you need in real time. And your body is pretty much like a house, just like the house that you're in right now, whether it's an apartment, a condo, a castle, whatever size home you have is really, it's pretty much all the same thing. It's a temporary housing unit, right? And our bodies are temporary housing units for the spirit, the soul, the energy that is you. So Darcy, your parents named you Darcy. Donna, your parents named you Donna. In my case, they named me after my maternal grandmother, so I'm named Lillian, right? But our bodies are that temporary housing unit that houses the personality, the persona that you and I are, right? And so when our stem cells go to build this temporary housing unit, it doesn't start with, notice how the first thing in the 6 weeks wasn't necessarily the head, it was actually the heart. The heart of the matter is that that's the center, that's like the primary brain of the body. It's what's required for life, so that life force energy was aware that, oh, we need to get to work to create everything that's required so that, we've got that heartbeat going, that electricity, that energy, the life force energy is flowing through that tiny little individual creature that's called a little embryo, right? So when we build a house, we don't start with the roof. The roof is the equivalent of the head. We don't start with the walls. We start with the foundation. And so we're going to start off with the foundational patches, what I like to call the Fantastic Five. And there's 5 of them. They kind of look like this. I should probably do it this way, so otherwise it's kind of backwards. And if you're expecting, may as well set the bar with proper expectations. If you're looking or expecting a perfect presentation, you may want to click off of this presentation, because I'm nowhere close to being perfect. So I will make mistakes. I sometimes drop sleeves. Sometimes I mispronounce things, whatever. But luckily, it's been good enough to help save people's lives and educate and inform them about this life-saving technology. Alrighty? So the first one is the mother stem cell activation patch. That's called X39. So that's going to be the foundation of our home. And again, these 5 patches, there's 12 of them, but the first 5 that we're going to be talking about take care of the foundations, the primary systems of the body. And we already talked about how 50% of them turn off by the time you're 30, and 90% of them to 100% turn off by the time you're 60. So what are these stem cell activation patches? So all of these patches are sealed so that none of the substances in the acrylic sleeve of the patch actually penetrate the skin. How do the stem cell activation patches work? Well, it's really quite simple, actually. We are energy, and the energy that's inside of our body, we all know, because we've learned that we're about 98.7 degrees Fahrenheit, right? And that heat, that temperature that we have inside of our body is evidence of the electrons, because we are basically, this bag is composed of primarily electrons. There's also protons, neutrons, and so forth, but primarily it's electrons, and that electrical flow can be measured by temperature, and it's 98.7, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The type of light that it is infrared light, as evidenced by this picture here. I actually have a device here that measures the joules of energy in each one of your fingers in both hands to figure out how many joules of energy are going through your gallbladder, your heart, your lungs, etc., and the different organ systems of the body. This particular picture, it's not from my device, but it is a spectrograph that evidences the electricity, the electrons. The electrolytes are the same thing as electrons. Electrons are simply little units of energy that travel on the outer ring of a cell or the outer ring of a molecule. Electrolytes just infers that it's moving, but electrons move as well. So that infrared light is the battery. You are the battery. You are the energy source that activates this FDA compliant class 1 medical device. If you notice here, I have on my left wrist, you'll see that I have one of these little, I like to equate it to a solar panel, because just as you put solar panels on the roof of your home to get solar energy from the sun, well, we're putting these little stem cell activation patches on our skin. And this little stem cell activation patch, if you notice in the middle, there's a little white crystal lattice. And that white crystal lattice is made of crystals. And much like a diamond crystal, if you were to flash a light on a diamond crystal, you would become aware and realize and recognize that there's all sorts of light that's reflecting back from that diamond crystal back to your eye, so that you see all the different colors of the rainbow, and it just sparkles back that light reflection, right? All the different spectrums from the prism of the rainbow. Well, the same thing is true when your body's infrared light now is going to be bouncing. This little lattice is on your skin like this, and so now the infrared light inside your body bounces off of this crystal lattice, and this crystal lattice is made of, just like diamonds, which are organic, these are a proprietary blend of organic sugar crystals, salt crystals, oxygen, hydrogen, water, and a proprietary blend of amino acid crystals. And That infrared light is, first of all, those crystals are arranged in a very specific geometrical pattern, and they're set to a specific frequency to activate GHKCU, copper peptide, in your bloodstream, so that once the moment it touches your skin, that infrared light bounces off of this crystal lattice that's mimicking, it's behaving just like a diamond crystal. That infrared light bounces back into your bloodstream, turns on your copper peptides, and that's what turns on a third of your previously dormant stem cells to turn back on. So now, with the mother stem cell activation patch, GHKCU copper peptide has been activated, and this immediately begins this wonderful domino effect of resetting a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state, repairs cellular damage. Cellular damage. That means that whatever damaged cells you have anywhere in your body, they're being replaced. It's going to restore collagen. Collagen is the #1 building block protein of the body. It's going to restore that. It's going to rebuild your scar tissue. Any scar tissue you have inside and outside of your body, it's going to replace it with the original tissue. How much better can it get? It's pretty darn cool. It's going to reduce fine lines and wrinkles. Like, I experienced the reduction in fine lines and wrinkles that I wasn't even aware that I had, which is pretty funny if you think about it, right? But I wasn't aware. And in a little bit, I'll show you my picture, my before and after. Because your stem cells don't really care about vanity. They don't care about beauty. They just care about, their #1 job is to replace damaged cells. End of story. If there's damage anywhere in their body, its job is to replace the damaged tissue, the damaged cells, and it knows the priority that it's more important to repair cells in your heart than it is if you break a toenail. It knows, okay, yeah, we're going to send some energy to continue making that nail grow and to replace that, but we need to give priority to whatever's going on in the heart, because you can't live without a heart. You can live without a toenail, but you can't live without a heart. So it's going to give more energy to replace and repair what's going on in your heart. Once your heart is all nice and tidy and everything is like all back to where it should be, it's been rejuvenated and regenerated, it's like, okay, now we can put more attention to that broken toenail. We can make that toenail grow even quicker, so that gets replaced and restored. All of this reparation and regeneration leads to an increase in energy, which we all love. It increases your sexual libido, because that is a sign of youth and vitality, and it's life force energy moving through your body. Increase in antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation. And if you have pain, many people experience pain relief. Within 3 to 4 minutes, their pain will go from 100% down to 50%. So they quite legitimately feel a 50 to 100% reduction in pain within 3 to 4 minutes, just from the mother stem cell activation patch, which is pretty awesome. And then, of course, go ahead.
So what directs the cells to different places?
What directs it? Each cell is programmed with the intelligence to create all. Your body has about 56 trillion cells. So every single one of your stem cells has the programming for everything that's required in your body. So as they are available, in this case, you're going to have 33% more additional stem cells activation available to you. So they're all aware in real time. Let's say if you have anything going on with your liver, your kidney, your heart, your stomach, your brain, whatever it is in your body. Maybe it's none of those things. Maybe you were happy and healthy and you fell down the stairs. Like my mother, my 86-year-old mother, 3 weeks ago today, fell down a flight of stairs.
How long ago?
3 weeks ago.
Huh?
3 weeks ago today.
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago today, she's lived in this house with my dad for the last 36 years. She has a tri-level home, and as she was going to the bottom level to the family room, she missed the last 2 stairs. She twisted her ankle, and she ended up landing on the tile floor. 86 years old, but she's been on the patches for 10 months now. Did not break a bone, didn't break a hip, not even a hairline fracture. She did injure both of her legs, had a tremendous amount of swelling. Her right ankle is what she twisted, but she did more damage to her left leg, even though her right leg was damaged. She ended up with a tremendous hematoma, which like is a an accumulation of blood that piled up on the top of the left shin bone. And luckily my father was there when it happened, and I can show you some pictures here in a little bit. But luckily my father was there, so all of a sudden he heard this crash. So he got up because he was watching TV in the family room. This was Saturday night. And then he immediately, picked her up, took her upstairs into her bed, and then immediately got, ice to ice her leg down. And then she remembered, because she wears her patches from 1 p.m. in the afternoon. My parents are night owls, so my mom wears her patches from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning. So she immediately took the patches off of her neck, and then she immediately put it on her leg. And she said her pain level went from being like 8 or 9, it immediately dropped down to a 5 just by moving her patches to her leg. And then, of course, they iced her leg. And I wish they would have called me that Saturday night, but my dad didn't call me till the next morning. And then, so I made my way over there Sunday afternoon. And so we ended up putting additional patches on her leg, separate from the ones that she then had on her neck bump that she put on Sunday afternoon at 1. So she had 2 sets of patches that she was wearing in essence. She had her patches that she would wear from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. on her neck bump. But because we wanted to address the inflammation and all the muscular and cellular damage that she had on her leg, we applied additional patches onto her leg to manage the inflammation. So you will see, obviously, how beneficial it would be to put a mother stem cell activation patch on her leg in lieu of what's going on, right? So let's see, I'm going to skip over. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you, because I did post the picture in our group of when she first fell. So we have that in my Telegram group. Where is the Telegram group? I need to. Okay, here it is. Okay, you'll let me know. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see this? Are you able to see this?
We can. Yeah, we can.
So you can see here, these are my mom's legs, and you'll see, can you see the date here? Yeah, July 10th. Okay, so you'll see these are her legs right after, this is like on Sunday, the day after she fell.
Wow.
And this was the ankle that she twisted. And so I put glutathione and eon, because glutathione helps manage pain. So glutathione and eon, and glutathione is also a master antioxidant detoxifier. And when you have blood that's pooling around over and around and under your muscles as a result of injury, those turn into toxins. So we want the body to purge that from the body as quickly as possible. So that's why I put glutathione and eon, and then eon and carnosine here, and then on each ankle. She also had eon because of the inflammation. She had inflammation on this ankle. And then I put ice wave for pain management. So if you look at the next picture, they're all labeled here, carnosine, eon, ice wave. She has an ice wave, the white one here, the tan one down here, and then eon. You can see this is the ice wave, this is the eon, this is the sprained ankle. You can see some of the bruising over here. Okay. And now, and this is where I'm talking about how she fell and what I did and how I applied the patches, etc. So then if you go down a little update, this is an update as of yesterday. Her left leg, her right leg that she had the sprained ankle, that one's been fine for like 2 weeks. So that one healed up like fast. This is the one where she had the bubble, she ended up with like a blood bubble on her shin, and it took I'd say about a week and a half for that to go down, because it got full. And then I told her, don't try to burst that bubble, just leave it be, let your body absorb that. She ended up going to the doctor. The doctor told her the same thing. Don't touch it. Don't tinker with it. Just let your body absorb that. And then eventually it just dried up on itself, which it's dried now. You can kind of see that. I've also been telling her, I also told her from like starting that second day, go out in the sun every morning after sunrise, because she always is up around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom. Then she goes back to sleep again. So I said, when you get up to go to the bathroom, go out for 10 minutes in your backyard, sit in a chair on the grass, and expose your legs to sunlight, because the vitamin A and the vitamin D will expedite the wound repair, and it's going to bring down your inflammation. So she's been doing that, and you can see how her skin is actually looking remarkably well. And this is as of last night, because I was there. I've been there every every 2 days I go by, because I wanted to make sure that she didn't have any risk for blood clots or anything like that. Because 30 years ago, she actually had fallen down. She was a director for a preschool, because she's a retired teacher now, and she had developed a blood clot in her left leg. So I did have concern about her potential clotting, but knock on wood, that's not been an issue. And so, but I've been closely monitoring her. But the fact that she fell down the stairs, we've all heard of people over 70 who, when they fall down, doesn't matter if it's the stairs, on their own feet, trip and fall on a sidewalk. What happens is they usually break a hip, break both hips, break a leg, break an arm, break a wrist, break a hand, break a foot, or break multiple. And I gotta tell you, it's a testament to her being on the patches for 10 months. She had no fractures, not even a hairline fracture. And if you don't know what a hairline fracture is instead of, a clean break or a partial break, it's just like a tiny little crack in the bone. And she didn't have any fractures whatsoever. So, and her pain level, the first 3 days she had pain, but her pain went drastically down as soon as she took her initial patches off, put it on her left leg. And she said it went from a 7, 8, or 9. It went down to a 5, and then by the third day, her pain level went down to a 2, and then after her 4th or 5th day, she only had pain when she would first wake up in the morning and start. When she was laying down, she had no pain, but when she would first begin to walk, just as her circulation was getting up and going, she would have a little bit of pain, like it would get to 3 or 4. And then after like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, she says then it would, once the circulation got going, then it went away, and then she didn't have pain. She hasn't had pain for the rest of the time. So I thought, without this, I think she would have been at a very high risk of developing a blood clot, and it probably would have taken much, much longer for her to heal than she has. So she's actually doing very, very well. And again, she's 87 years old, so she just turned 87 in February. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I've had falls.
So you know how
I have quite a bit of experience with falls.
Yeah, so you're familiar with how long it takes. First of all, how bad the bruising is, and how long it takes to clear up the bruising and so forth. So, like I said, it's been 3 weeks for her, so we'll see how much longer it takes for her to. Her right leg is 100%. I should have taken a picture of the right leg. I just focused on the left leg because now she has no purple. She has no purple bruising. Like her whole calf, her entire front and back of the leg was all black and blue and purple. I do have some pictures of that on my phone. I need to post that so that it's all in order so that you guys can see that. I'll see if I can show this here to you. Give me a quick second. Yeah, so here you can kind of tell. You can see how it's all black and blue there, and you see the blood bubble?
Yeah.
That was July 16th. So you can start to get a notion.
Yeah.
And see how her right leg, yeah. So you see the big difference, and you also see the quality of the skin. But here we are. This is now her 3rd week, and she could have been in this condition for months as a direct result of wearing the patches. And she has the benefit that she's been on the patches for 10 months, so that's a big help as well. because if she had any other things kind of going on, like her blood pressure and things like that, all of those things have come down to normal rates now. Like she was on gabapentin because she was recovering from shingles when we started her on the patches. She also was recovering from stage 1 breast cancer and had a small tumor removed, and they told her she was going to have chemo and radiation. She didn't have to have chemo. She didn't have to have radiation. By the time they did the surgery on her, her tumor had shrunk 10 times smaller. So it's been a big game changer, for her. Okay, so let's move on and talk here about how we have a Veritas Consilium, a true plan of action, basically a protocol using traditional Chinese acupuncture points to magnify the effects of the patches on the body. You saw how I strategically applied the patches on acupuncture points to bring down the swelling and to expedite healing of her legs, separate from the ones that she had on her neck bump. Because when you have injury, you have your body has additional needs. So let's give the body what it needs, right? Here you'll see here, okay, so a little side note, oh, by the way, fibroblasts. This is interesting because I think we would all agree a 25-year-old is just a grown-up kid that is just beginning to get used to being in an adult body, right?
Right.
I think back when I was 25, I was like, oh my gosh, I was so young at 25. There's so much. I mean, I still don't know a whole lot. I'm just aware of knowing, like, I'm keenly aware of there's so much I really don't know. But really, when I was 25, I really didn't know very much. And to think that your fibroblasts begin to decline when you're 25 years old in the production of collagen, think about it. So that begins to decline at 25. It's no wonder that at the age of 30, you have 50% of your stem cells that turn off for no other reason other than it's the natural aging process. So here we have Scott Barber and Patrick Tatone, and these two gentlemen, oh my gosh, their hair is coming back. Here's Scott Barber and Patrick Tatone's story. They got a great result in a short period of time where they were fairly thin. Both of these gents were thin on the hair side, and now they are enjoying and sporting more hair, which is really fantastic. And so let's talk about the equivalency of stem cells are to your body, what an ink printer cartridge is to your printer, where you make color copies and black and white copies on there. And we all know that when you've got brand new ink cartridges, it's the equivalent of having all of your stem cells available in your body, right? Well, when you make a color copy, you can barely tell the difference between a color copy and the original, or a black and white copy and the original. But when you've used up 80, 90% of the ink in those cartridges, now that color copy is a very faded version of the original. And the same thing with the black and white copy, it's a very light gray, sometimes even a pink copy of the original. Same thing is true with our stem cells. It's like as we get older, we are faded versions of our original, just because we don't have all the energy from all our original blueprint of stem cells working in our favor. But thank goodness we have stem cell activation patches that will turn on 33% of those previously dormant stem cells. And so let's go on to talk about, we've covered the foundation nice and solid. Now we're going to talk about this daughter stem cell activation patch. We've got the mother, now the daughter. And this patch does something entirely different. And this one protects you against radiation poisoning release. It increases your lean muscle mass. My mother definitely needed a boost in lean muscle mass because she took a real strong hit when she fell. And all of us lose lean muscle mass and bone density as we age. So this patch, this beautiful patch, this good girl here is going to help increase your muscle mass and strength. It's going to increase your bone density. Thank goodness, because it kept my mom. That could have been very devastating for my mom to break a hip. She may have potentially have needed hip surgery. Who knows? It's the possibilities of how bad it could go. Infinity works in both directions, and that's the beautiful part about infinity. It could get infinitely worse, or it can get infinitely better. And we've kind of stacked the cards in our favor by getting on the stem cell activation patches, because now things can get infinitely better. Just like my mom, just like myself, and just like those of you who are on the patches already, and those of you who are considering getting on the patches. The other thing is that this daughter stem cell activation patch also increases your energy, your focus, your cardiovascular function. It protects you against electromagnetic frequencies from 5G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi radiation, routers, modems, TSA scanners, X-ray machines, MRI machines, any kind of device, whether it's medical or otherwise, at a doctor's office, a hospital's office, a clinic, a home, your supermarket, wherever you might be, in your car. We have a lot of electronics. You're entirely surrounded with electronics inside your car, right? This patch is going to help protect you from that. It's going to, if you have belly fat, it will reduce your belly fat because it's going to use that as an immediate source of energy instead of whatever food that you've eaten that is carbs or sugars. And so that's why you get a reduction in belly fat. And it's going to help osteoporosis, because osteoporosis is not a sickness, not an illness, not a disease. It's a condition. Osteo simply means bone in Latin, and porosis means porous. So it's just informing you that your bones happen to be porous, which is a natural progression of aging. And so this particular patch is going to reverse that by increasing your bone density, okay? Which you can only imagine will help you feel better. You can start to see how this patch also has played a very pivotal role in my mother's recuperation and the regeneration of her body, literally from the inside and the outside. This is a wonderful friend of mine, Kathy, who lives in Nevada, who last year, she posted a year ago, January, a year and a half ago, she started on the patches. And when she got on the patches, she's like, these little Band-Aids, it's like, she's like, okay, whatever, I'll put them on, but I don't think these are going to work. And, you know, yeah, I'll try anything. But, and her thing was that she had been suffering with, poor thing, for 33 years. She had autoimmune disorder as a direct result of 3 breast implants. And she had silicone that had leaked all over her body and made her very, very sick. And she was 63 years old at the time when she started on the patches. And so we told her, make sure you take pictures every 30 days, which she did. And so last October, she posted these 4 pictures. This is her in January. This is her in March. This is in June. And you can see the vast difference between January and July, just 7 months later, how she went from having wrinkles, crepey skin. Again, this is the outside that we can witness with the naked eye. That is a very dramatic result from January, not even a whole year. And at the time, she was very camera shy. She would not take her picture. And she's beautiful, as you can see. And I told her, Kathy, I go, people, I'm going to share your post on my Facebook, and my friends know that I'm not a flake and that I'm not going to put BS on there, but they're going to forward this to a friend who's going to forward it to a friend. And if I were a friend of a friend, I would say, hey, that was Photoshop. I would not believe it. So I said, I really need you to come on and do a Zoom call, just like a regular call that we do on Zoom. But I want you to come on and show people how this is, look, your neck, your chest, your face, this is not Photoshop. This is how you actually look, and you're beautiful. So, and she's like, no, I'm not beautiful. I go, yeah, you are beautiful. Like, own it, girl. And so when we did the Zoom call, she didn't give me this picture initially, but by the time the Zoom call was, as soon as we were done, she's like, okay, I'll send you a picture of me. I'll take a picture here in my home and send it. And so that same evening, she took the picture and sent it to me. And you'll see from the video, she looks exactly like that. This is not like photoshopped or touched up or anything. You'll see, because you can't, just like this video that I'm doing with you guys, I can't do anything to change my hair color or make my eyes look bigger or take this line out, or this is in real time, right? It's not edited. It is what it is. And so it was very exciting. And then everybody's like, wow, oh my gosh, this transformation is incredible. But the big story is that she no longer has that autoimmune disorder. She's like fine and healthy. And her husband, I think it was in the 4th or 5th month that her husband called it to her attention. He's like, honey, look at your stomach, look at your arms. He goes, you don't have crepey skin on your arms and your belly anymore. She's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, look at your stomach and look at your arms. She's like, oh my gosh, you're right. I hadn't even noticed. He's like, yeah, your skin is so smooth. And I thought, wow, to me, that's like so exciting. So there are all sorts of possibilities, you know, and so that's very, very wonderful to be able to see somebody that you know to experience that benefit. So here's another friend of mine, Barry. Barry lives in Canada, like you do, Darcy. And Barry, he was suffering for 18 months with long haulers COVID. He woke up every morning for 18 months prior to him starting on the patches. We started him on the patches on June 23rd. And Barry woke up every morning with headaches, with nausea, with low stamina, terrible fatigue, just no energy, and felt really, really terrible. And he couldn't find anything to help him. Oh, and his insomnia was so bad. He hadn't slept in 18 months. He had barely slept and couldn't get to sleep. And when he would fall asleep, couldn't stay asleep. And then when we started him on the patches, the first day he wore the patches was on the 23rd. So he wore the patches for 12 hours. As you know, you wear the patches for 12 hours on, and then you remove them after 12 hours, and you allow that matching 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore. So then the next day he texted me about 3:41 in the afternoon. He sent me a text through Facebook. He's like, "Hey Lillian, just a note. Don't know if it's a placebo or the stem cell patches work that quick or what. But I had really good sleep, a little better sleep than other nights. I fell asleep quicker, and today I'm just on a high. I'm ecstatic, and Gwen sees that in me, and I feel really, really good physically when I woke this morning. No headache, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day. So thank you, and I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Thanks, bye." So since then, he was the first person who had COVID long haulers that I had patched. Since then, I've stopped counting. It's been so many people who tested positive with COVID, who had high fevers, body aches, chills, headache, nausea, felt like a truck ran them over, some of them with congestion, some of them with trouble breathing. And I just went ahead and patched them, and every single one of them within 24 hours, not only relief, but they're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel fine now." The fastest I had was a gentleman who 2 hours and 18 minutes after I patched him. We don't know if he tested positive for COVID or not because we were at a medical convention, we were getting a medical certification in Nevada. This was a year ago, August. And he came down with a high fever, body aches, chills, nausea, and absolutely no stamina. He couldn't even get out of bed. So he sent me a text message. It was a Thursday, and I'll never forget. Let me see if I can pull up that text message, and I can show you really quick here. He asked if I had. So here's the text message. So let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay, so it says, "Do you have any magic potions or elixirs to boost the immune system? I'm down and out, didn't go to class today, sore throat, headache, pressure, chills, thanks." Can you see that? Let me make this. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was his thing. So then I replied to him, "What's your room number?" Because I was in class, and I had noticed that he wasn't there. And so I don't know if you know this, but anytime you go to get a medical certification, it's thousands of dollars, just for one class, plus the hotel, plus the airfare and all that kind of stuff. So, and if you miss a portion of the class, then you're not eligible. Not only is there's a theory part, and then there's a hands-on where you have hundreds of people that you are doing whatever it is that you're learning and you're getting certified in. And then the last day they test you and you have to pass the test. It's a pass or fail. Either you pass it or you don't. There's no mercy. You either know how to do what you've been taught and trained and what you're going to be certified in, or you don't. And so he ended up missing that Thursday. So now, as soon as I saw that he had that, I said, "What's your room number?" I grabbed 4 water bottles. At the next break, which was 4 p.m., I went up to his room. I said, "Here, drink these 2." I set his energy. I did the polarity test and reset on him to get his energy going in the right direction, because his energy was actually stuck where it wasn't moving at all. So I got it going in the right direction. And then I told him, "Okay, at 8 o'clock at night, you'll wear the patches from 8 o'clock at night till 8 in the morning." He put them on at 8 o'clock at night, and I told him to drink 2 more bottles of water right before you put the patches on, which he did. And then it was really cool because not only did he do that, but then 2 hours and 18 minutes later, he called me. And he called me on the line, the hotel line, and he's like, He goes, you're not going to believe this. 100% of my symptoms are gone. So I was like, Al? I'm like, what? I go, what do you, so I looked at the clock. I was a little confused because I never had anybody have those type of symptoms and have that quick of a response. So I was like, I go, wait a minute. I go, it's 10:18 at night. I go, are you telling me? I go, did you drink the two bottles of water that I told you at 8 o'clock? He goes, yep. I said, did you apply the patches on at exactly 8 o'clock? He goes, yep. I go, that's 2 hours and 18 minutes ago. He goes, I know. I have no headache, no fever, no chills, no body aches, nothing. I feel 100% fine. I'm like, oh, that's a record. In fact, if you guys want, I will share that. There's a brief little video. Would you like me to share that with you right now? Okay.
Sure.
I will share that with you. It was so exciting. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea it could work that quick, but obviously it did. So, here we go. So we're live now. Okay. Thank you for joining us today, Al. I wanted to share, in the midst of this week of Thanksgiving, we have so many things to be grateful for. And yet in this midst, there are people that are coming down with all different types of flus. We have the big C. I'm not talking about cancer, but you know, there's COVID, there's influenza, there's rhinovirus, the adenovirus. There's like 2,000 different variations of flus and so forth. And so we keep on seeing different people that have these type of circumstances. And in August, when you and I were getting some medical certifications and getting some integrative hypnotherapy classes that are medically related, you texted me on Thursday. It was August 3rd when you texted me saying that basically, do you have any magic potions or elixirs to boost the immune system? I'm down and out, didn't go to class today, sore throat, head pressure, chills, thanks. And then I asked you, what's your room number? You share with our listeners, with our viewers, because there are people right now that are going through this. I just saw a friend of mine, her daughter, I just found out 10 days she's been in the hospital with infections, with high fevers and asthmatic attacks. And I'm going, oh my gosh, we need to patch your daughter. So share with me what was going on and what happened.
Well, I started feeling pretty bad. I was had a little pressure in my head, sinus pressure, and coughing, and then I started getting chills, and I was just feeling just crappy. And so, you know, as we were in class, I decided I'm not going to go to class anymore until I feel better, because I didn't know what it was. So then I, you know, just started thinking about what I can do, and I didn't have any OTC stuff. So I said, well, maybe Lillian has something. So that's when I texted you, and then you came up and you did the sway test.
Polarity test.
Check my polarity test. Yeah.
We did the test. We reset it.
Yeah, reset it, and so it was good. You reset it, and then gave me the patches, and I just kind of laid down after I got the patches, and I was kind of drifting in and out, and then I just started feeling better. It was really bizarre. It was pretty cool. I started feeling better.
Yeah, so it was very interesting because I'll never forget, I was in my room. It was after 10 o'clock at night, and you know, most of us, we text each other by phone, we call, usually text first, then we call, video chat. And so all of a sudden my hotel room rings, and I look at the clock, it's 10:18, I pick up the phone, I'm like, oh, who is it, right? And then you're like, you're not gonna believe this. I'm like, what? And he's like, I feel fine, all my symptoms are gone. I go, what? I questioned you.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're like, yeah, I feel fine. I go, my headache is gone, my chills are gone, my fever's gone, I feel fine. So then I looked at the clock again, it was 10:18. I'm like, no way. I go, so then I questioned you again. I'm like, so did you drink another bottle? Remember, I go, did you drink another bottle of water? And did you start at 8 o'clock? Because I didn't know if you started it as soon as I left, even though, because
we tested your body, and your body said to start at 8, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, so did you drink another bottle of water? Because I had given you 2 when I first arrived. And then did you start at 8? You're like, yeah, at 8 o'clock, I drank a bottle of water and I applied the patches right at 8 o'clock. So I'm like, holy cow, that's only 2 hours and 18 minutes. You're like, I know. He goes, and I feel great. This stuff is pretty badass.
Yeah. Yeah, I was quite impressed. I was definitely impressed.
I was shocked. I was even questioning you because I was like, how could that be that fast? I thought 24 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I drank that one bottle and I was feeling better. And then, like I said, I was like in and out. And then after I drank the second bottle, I, like kind of in and out. And then when I woke up, whatever. I think I probably finished the second bottle around 9ish or something. And because I don't really drink that much water, but it was good to drink all that water. And then I felt great. It was pretty cool.
That is amazing. So this is not meant to be this long expose. This is meant for you, the person who's watching this, whether you're watching this live or whether you're going to see this as a replay, either on my YouTube channel or on Facebook or Instagram or however. Maybe one of your friends is going to send you this, whether you're in the hospital or whether you're at home, whether you're out vacationing. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to totally ruin my Thanksgiving celebration, my Thursday, my Friday, it doesn't have to. That's why we're doing this now. And just know.
Okay, so you guys get the gist of it. Pretty cool, isn't it? So,
It is.
so anytime you have any kind of situation that's involving your health, and I think that's part of the moral of the story. If you have congestion, if you have a cough, if you have a headache or whatnot, these patches are very, very powerful. And sometimes just moving the location. Like I said, my mom normally wears her patches on her neck bump. And so that first day when she had that injury, she took those patches and moved them to her leg. And then, of course, then the next day, then I advised her, I actually applied more patches as I showed you earlier today. So as you become aware and anything that you have or your loved ones have, just know that those are tools that you can put on their bodies. And it's starting this rapid repair right away. Okay. We're going to finish off here. Let's see if I can find, here they are. No, that's not it. It's easier to find this way. I'm trying to share my screen. There it is. Okay. Okay, so now you should be able to see this again. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next 3 patches and explain a little bit about those. And then any questions that you guys have, we can open it up for questions for about 10 minutes approximately. So we've got the glutathione patch, which is a master antioxidant detoxifier. Your brain signals your liver to manufacture glutathione, and then glutathione goes into your bloodstream from your liver, and it's sent to every single muscle and every organ of the body. This detoxifies you and it boosts your immune system. So after the first day of your wearing your patches, within the first 24 hours, your glutathione jumps to 300 to 600% higher than it was prior to you being put on the patches. And this is based on what your original blueprint, whatever your original, that when your mother's ovum and your father's sperm united and you had that original information, whatever that original, if for you, let's say for you, your level was 555% higher than what it is now, it's going to bring it up to 555. Whatever is your optimum for your blueprint, that's where it's going to go up. And the studies show that the low side was 300% and the high was 600%. This boosts your antivirals. So any germs, viruses, or bacteria, no wonder Al, after just 2 hours and 18 minutes of wearing the patches, his antivirals boosted to the point where it knocked out whatever it was that he had been exposed to, basically regenerating his body to the point where the symptoms that he had all disappeared and he felt great. So that's very exciting. And then the other thing is that this particular master antioxidant is a radioprotector against DNA damage. So your DNA strands are actually protected from radioactivity and so forth. So this is really, really a very cool and exciting thing. The next two master antioxidants that we're going to talk about, like I said, the mother, the daughter, and we've got glutathione as one of the walls. If I were an octopus, I'd be able to hold all of these up shaped like a house, but I'm not. I'm just a girl, so I'll just lean it up here like a bearing wall. And then we've got carnosine, and this master antioxidant supports your cardiovascular system, all things related to your heart, muscle, and improves healthy brain function, memory, focus, and brain processing time. Also increases strength, stamina, endurance, and if you have any wounds, it's going to help with wound repair. Very, very powerful antioxidant dealing with muscles. And you know, the strongest muscle, most powerful muscle you have in your heart, in your body, is your heart. That's the pump. That muscle never rests. Your leg muscles, your arm muscles, all the other muscles of the body rest. Your muscle, from the point of conception until you pass, that muscle is always operating. It's never at rest. It's always beating. So that primary muscle is being optimized through the use of the stem cell activation patches, through this Fantastic Five. And it's also helping your brain function because the two are tied together. You got a good pump, then you've got good memory, focus, and brain processing speed. You got a bad pump, the pump may have issues with the plumbing, where there's, maybe plaque, cholesterol, fat, calcium buildup inside of it. So the blood can't flow, the oxygen and the nutrients, the electrolytes can't get up to the brain, then of course it's going to affect your brain function. Or maybe the plumbing is fine, but maybe the electrical conductivity of the heart, because our heart is 10,000 times more electromagnetic and powerful than the brain. So it starts with the heart. So you have to have the electricity of the heart as well as the actual pumping action. The plumbing has to be good. The muscles have to have that elasticity, that if all of a sudden you're afraid, it can pump really fast to respond because of the fight or flight response, or it can equally, the fearful, whatever the excitement, whatever the fight or flight response was that caused your heartbeat to jump, okay, it has the elasticity to not stay stuck idling fast. It has the elasticity to come back down to where it's supposed to be. Okay, so this patch is very important for that. Of course, we talked about, and you heard Al talk about it too, how drinking 50% your fluid weight in ounces of water. So just whatever you weigh, 50% of that number is how many ounces you have to drink, and water every day. Very important. And we've talked about the significance of how important water is, because our DNA strands are 92%. The structure that holds up our DNA is actually water, 92% composition. The rest is other matter. Very important. So then the next patch, this is the last of the walls to build our house, because you see we have these two and then these three complete the walls of the house. And this Eon patch, everyone loves this patch so much because it's your master anti-inflammatory patch. It manages the inflammation inside your body. It's also the anti-stress patch, and we also call it the happy patch. But this wonderful patch raises actinoplastins, and I'll tell you what that is in a second, and it increases the DHEA, fountain of youth hormone. It creates brain balancing of the left brain and the right. So the left lobe of the brain and the right both get balanced, because most people's brains have gotten out of balance for many, many different reasons. Sometimes they've had multiple concussions, concussive events throughout their lifetimes. They've had injuries, they've had accidents. For every time that you've had surgery where you've basically undergone general anesthetics, your memory gets wiped out. You suffer a traumatic brain injury inadvertently every time you undergo general anesthetics. So you suffer a traumatic brain injury, you get the life-saving procedure, but you have that as a consequence because it's inevitable. Because anesthesiologists, they will tell you there's the 4 things an anesthesiologist does to you every time you go under general anesthetics. The first thing is they wipe out your memory, so they give you amnesia. Number 2, hypnosis. Number 3, analgesia. Analgesia is the turning off the pain receptors of the body so that you don't feel the experience of pain. And then number 4, it's paralysis, because you cannot move even a hair when a surgeon is cutting in your body and doing surgery, because that might make or break the deal. They need to be able to do things with exact precision and not have the mistake of cutting too far this way or that way. So your body has to be completely still. And when they put you under anesthetics, they have to lower all of your vitals, your heart rate, your breath rate, your pulse, your brain waves, all have to be lowered. As your breath rate is lowered, you have less oxygen going up into the brain. That deprivation of oxygen for the duration of that surgery creates part of that traumatic brain injury. And so those things are inevitables. They're a consequence. And that's why, for example, I like listening to Dr. Anthony Cavey. He's at Harvard and Stanford medically trained anesthesiologist, and he's also an integrative medicine PhD. And he talks about all these different things, and he's a great educator in terms of having people start to have some peace of mind about undergoing surgery and so forth, and the results of anesthetics and what to expect and how to also communicate with your doctor and so forth. But he's the first who will tell you, yeah, these 4 things, we don't even really know how the mind actually completely works, but we know that we need to wipe out your memory. We have to give you amnesia, because your body, your brain and your body keep score. The memory of the experience of the surgery, your brain will store that in the left hemisphere of the brain. And then the energetic aspect of being cut into, that's traumatic to the body. And so for you to recover and not have PTSD and not have a panic attack, because your body, even though you weren't conscious, in order for you to recover more quickly, they wipe out your memory and they paralyze you for your benefits so that you can move forward. And so it's a necessary aspect of surgery. And that's why he's the first to tell you. He goes, even though I make my living putting people under general anesthetics and people undergoing surgery, I will tell you that if you can avoid at all costs undergoing surgery, because it's not the best thing for your brain health for you to undergo surgery after surgery after surgery. But in many cases, it's inevitable because it's what's required. If the person doesn't have the surgery, they'll lose their life. It's better to have a little brain damage and be alive than to have life end as we know it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what is that doctor's name?
His name is Dr. Anthony Cavey. I will, if you'd like, let me show you what his channel looks like on YouTube so that you can look him up.
That's kind of fascinating. I would have never thought of having a brain injury or a traumatic experience from being in surgery, but all of that made so much sense. Like I never even looked at, having to go in for a C-section luckily when I had my emergency C-section, I didn't have to be put under. But yeah,
It is fascinating information. And if you, let me see, I'm sure.
And he's where is he, Stanford?
He's up in Northern California. He's a Harvard and Stanford trained anesthesiologist. Let me see, is it showing up here? Oh, here it is. This is his YouTube channel. In fact, this is
Pacific Defense. Is that where he's at? The clinic?
Yeah, he works in Northern Cal. Let me see. There's the one. This is him.
Oh.
Let me see if I can.
Ways to
Yeah, his everything. If you you'll fall in love listening to all of his stuff. Here he talks about what happens to your body after multiple surgeries and how you can prevent them. But there's one that he does. Okay, put
5 ways to overtake arrogant doctors. Oh my God. Stop breathing like
victimized in surgery. Yeah, he has, is what they don't tell you about nerve blocks. I'll find the one that it says about natural supplements. Yeah, I'll find that one that tells you what they don't want you to know about, and even about, he's just such a wealth of information I can't even tell you about. And he addresses how the state of being, how your mental attitude and your disposition is. Yeah, here, what are doctors hiding when you sleep under anesthetics? I'll put it here in the comments. This one,
Maybe.
he goes over the four things that all anesthesia, and I have anesthesiologists that I've patched that are on the patches that have also confirmed. They're like, yeah, that's exactly what we do every time. Yeah, Anthony Cave here. His channel is called Medical Secrets. I'll put the link to this video here in this in our chat. Doctor, and I actually sent him some patches. His channel is called Medical Secrets.
Okay.
Okay, do you see it here in the chat?
I saw it, but it's disappeared now.
Okay, can you, if you go to the bottom of
It's
your,
on YouTube. You'll find it.
yeah,
Where is it? Is it on YouTube?
it is on YouTube. If you go to the chat, like if you put your cursor to your cell phone, to the bottom, or if it's your computer or your notebook, it says chat, and in the chat, I put the link in there for you.
Okay, thank you. I see it.
Okay,
Got
so
it.
now you
Yeah.
have the link.
Got it.
You have the link there. All right. So the last thing I'm going to close with is sharing with you. As you can tell, I'm big on education and making sure you guys always can go to the source where you can get experts who this is, you know, their area of expertise. So the last thing to talk about is that the Eon patch increases the tinioplastins. I want you to be really well aware of the fact that you were born, your original blueprint, your 23,688 genes have what's required to fight off cancer, brain infections, all sorts of different things. So this Eon patch increases the tinioplastins, and they're peptides that are found in the urine and blood of healthy people. The research shows that they might stimulate your immune system and that these might kill cancer cells or prevent them from growing, and they're used routinely for various cancers, high cholesterol, brain swelling, etc. HIV, so forth. I just have my first person who, since 1998, he's tested positive for HIV in 1998. We started him on the patches last June 23rd, and he, as of December of 2022, he had his first blood, because every 90 days he gets a blood test. So in December he had a blood test and it showed no presence of HIV in his body anywhere. And when he started on the patches, he was disabled, not working, having seizures. Fast forward to December, he's fine. He's no longer having seizures. He is showing that his blood tests have no evidence of HIV. As of last month, June, he now has all of his blood tests from December to June 2023 show no presence of HIV. He's now working full time, making 5 times the income he used to make before. He's saving, he had lost his previous house because he had become disabled. He's now saving up money to buy a new home. He's traveling all over the country because he works for an oil company. His life is 180 degrees. He got his life back. He was losing his life, and now he regained his life. So it's very, very exciting. Are there any questions that you guys might have? And then we need to wrap this up in 10 minutes.
I'm more concerned about if I order, what do I order when you don't have much money, and where do you order?
So, okay, so after we get off, after we're done with this, I can get on the phone with you, Donna, and we can take your order. But so the most important, if you can't do all 5 to start off with, because the doctor wholesale pack, like if you were to get on our website, you'll see that just these 2 alone, they're $300, $149 each one of these. Okay.
Oh,
That's just these two. But when we put you on a Dr. Wholesale pack, then they drop down to $100 a piece, because on the gold pack, this is $4.99 just the first month. And then the second month through the 12th month, it drops to $3.29 a month. But let's say if that's too much, it's just not in your budget right now, it's just not within your realm of possibility,
right.
then you could do the silver pack, which instead of $4.99 is $2.99. That would give you 4 of the 5 for the first month. So you're going to have that benefit for the first 4 months.
And what is in there?
So that would be the mother, the daughter, and then you would have carnosine and eon. That's 4 of the 5. And then months 2 through 12, you can do $179 a month for these two, plus tax and handling. And then at least you have the mother, the daughter stem cell activation patch. Just the mother stem cell activation patch will increase your glutathione by 30%. Once you add the glutathione patch, then it would be 300%. But you could always do that later. But at least getting started with these two is of paramount importance, because it's the mother and the daughter.
So to add something, what do they cost? Are they the similar price?
Yeah, so these would be after your first month, $2.99 for the silver pack to get 4 of these, like this. Let me show you.
But how can you take any? What I thought I saw that you take it every day.
Yeah, you are. You're taking it.
So how can you possibly anybody afford it if it's that expensive?
It's you're paying that for a month's supply. So the first month, so here you have, for example, you see here's my Dr. Wholesale form. So the first month you're going to get a silver pack. It says 3, but because it's a Dr. Wholesale pack, they always give you an extra sleeve for free. So you in essence get 4 of the 5. That would be this. Okay. And that's $2.99 because the retail price is $4.50, but we're giving you the Dr. Wholesale price. So it's $2.99. Then the second month, the first 30 days, you'll use all 4 of these.
Hey, Mama.
Then,
Hold on. What?
We're gonna go get something.
Oh,
What is that much?
pick me out something that you think I'd like. No, thanks.
yeah.
Sorry, I had to take a message from my daughter.
So then after the first 30 days, because the first 30 days on the silver pack, you're going to be on 4 of the 5. Okay. And then from the second month to the 12th month, every month, you'll have shipped to you the mother and the daughter stem cell activation patch, so you don't have an interruption. You're not going to go any days without your patches. So then you'll have these 2 sent to you for $179.99 plus whatever your tax and like $8 for shipping.
But somehow I have missed the understanding of taking them every day and connecting that to the price.
So
I mean, what would it be? Isn't that what you do?
yeah, I do. I wear, like you see, I've got these patches on here, and on the back of my neck, you can see.
Uh-huh.
And I also have one under my belly button as well, which I'm not going to show you right now, but I do have one also under my belly button. So for these, so if you figure out 179, like if you do the 5 patches per month at $329, then that ends up being
Of the same named.
yeah,
2 of the same thing
yeah. So
that you're using.
these are the mother and the daughter stem cell activation patch. So you're basically paying about $200 a month, $179 plus tax and handling, basically $200 a month for the mother and the daughter stem cell activation patch. And every day because there's 30 in each one of these, so it's a 1-month supply. So
Okay.
there's 30.
That's the key I've been missing.
Yeah, there's 30 patches in each one of these. So each one of these is a 1-month. It's 30 patches for all of these.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so 30
Super.
patches each. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Very helpful.
Okay. All right.
So, and that was the order form?
And that's the order
Was
form.
that the order form?
So yeah, that's the order form. It's not on the website. The website's only retail. So Carol and Annie Reeves, etc. As you know, we enroll you. I literally fill out the paperwork. I fill it out and then I enter it to my back office, so you get the doctor wholesale price, and then it gets shipped automatically to you. Okay?
I think I got it.
Okay. Yeah, after we're done with this Zoom,
Not till I do
I can
this
call you.
will I understand completely.
Yeah, so it's basically
Wow.
the main thing to understand or to know is that each one of these comes with 30 patches in them, and that's a one month supply. 30, 30 patches, one for each day of the month. And so every morning you're going to take them out. I line mine up and I literally link them like this. Here they're labeled so that you can see what the difference is: the mother, the daughter, X39, 49, glutathione, carnosine, and eon. And then I just hold the top one, I put it on my neck bump, and then I press down my spine and it goes down my back. And that's how you see on the back of my neck, you see my patches. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, because when I broke my neck, that C3, the one with the bump in the back,
Huh?
it's not a bump anymore. It's broken off.
Oh, really?
And I don't know what it'll do to that, but as a result of that, I get all kinds of stuff going on in my neck.
Wow. I'm going to share one last thing because I did promise you guys that I was going to share my before and afters and my laundry list of what I had prior to being on the patches so that you can see. Can you see this here?
Yes.
So this is me before and after, and you can see how I definitely had, I didn't realize it at the time, but I back then I did have, in May of 2022, I did have some wrinkles around my eyes, right?
Yeah.
You can see that I don't have them anymore. And these were all my symptoms prior. I suffered a TBI, had short-term memory loss, I had zero short-term memory, impaired vision, blurry vacillating eyesight, sensitivity to light, couldn't focus or concentrate, felt stuck, foggy brain, tinnitus, vertigo. I would see random shooting stars all the time. I had a neck injury, back injury, severe neck pain, back pain, acute insomnia, laceration on my right leg, loss of appetite, weight loss. Had terrible weight loss. I lost like 8-9 pounds that I could not afford to lose, but I did. I had a bald spot on the back. I had a couple bald spots. Dry, very dry, brittle, coarse hair. My biochemistry was all out of sorts. Black spots on my tongue, black spot on my lower lip, tooth abscess, dulled sense of smell, loss of taste, dry skin.
What was that? The black spots.
The black spots.
Did you ever know what that was?
Because of what I know about medicine, I go, if I go to the doctor either for the black spot on my lip or the black spots on my tongue, I know what they're going to do. They're going to want to biopsy it. I go, I don't need a label. I don't need a diagnosis. That is oxidative stress. That is not good. I know it's not a positive thing. I know it doesn't belong there. So I knew that I needed to reverse the damage, and I don't need a medical diagnosis for that. So I'm like, and I don't want to be a punch, like a voodoo doll where they're pricking you and stuff. I'm not into suffering. So I'm like, I know that my chemistry is all out of whack because of this injury that I had. And so I'm like, I know that I had to focus, but I was in so much pain right after that. So I'm like, well, something's got to kill you. I just need to get out of pain first, and then I'll worry about that. But little by little, everything did get repaired. So, and you could see the difference in my hair, how it's funny because at the time I knew it was somewhat dry, but it's like you can visibly see how there it's much drier, and here it's so much smoother. And
So how long have you been on the patches for? Since May of last year, or?
I started June 22nd of 2022. So it's been 13, almost 14 months.
Yeah. Okay.
So just to kind of give you an idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. If you have any other questions, you know how to reach me. I believe you guys are all on Telegram. And Donna, as soon as I hang up here, I will call you, okay?
Okay.
Have a good night, ladies.
Nice.
Bye.
To see you. Darcy, Carol, have a great one.
Bye.
I want to make sure, Yeah, we're gonna put this on YouTube so you can rewatch this.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye bye.